Assalamualaikum and good evening everyone. My name is Muhammad Nuhafi bin Alim. My metric number is 2230C80. I'm an officer cadet year 2. Today I want to talk about a significant event in modern history, the 1998 U.S Embassy Bombings in East Africa. On August 7, 1998, two U.S embassies were bombed simultaneously in Nairobi, Kenya and Dar es Salaam, Tanzania. This was an attack planned by Al-Qaeda and it left over 200 people dead, including 12 American and 1,000 more were injured. The bombing were a brutal reminder of the growing global threat of terrorism and marked a turning point in US foreign policy. Let's take a closer look at what happened, the US response, and how this attack reshaped counter-terrorism effort. So, what exactly happened on that fateful day? Coordinated bombing target US Embassy in Kenya and Tanzania. The goal was clear, to strike at US interests and create chaos. The blast in Nairobi was the deadliest, killing 230 people and injuring over 5,000. In Dar es Salaam, the death toll was lower, but the damage was still significant. In response, the US government moved quickly. They launched missile strikes against Al-Qaeda training camps in Afghanistan and Sudan. The idea was to send a strong message and retaliate for the attacks. But this tragedy also exposed a critical weakness, which is the security of US embassies. Despite increasing threats from groups like Al-Qaeda, the embassies were not as protected as they should have been. Now, while the US response was swift, it didn't come without criticism. Let's break this down. First, there was a clear lack of preventive intelligence. Despite growing concerns over Al-Qaeda's activities, the US failed to anticipate the scale of this attack. Intelligence agencies didn't connect the dots, and the embassies were left vulnerable. This failure in security raised serious questions about the effectiveness of the intelligence system at the time. Second, the US military's response, while swift, has also been called into question. Missile strikes were launched against Al-Qaeda, but critics argue that this action didn't do enough to neutralize the terrorist network. The strikes were more symbolic than effective in dismantling Al-Qaeda, and many believe that they didn't address the root causes of terrorism. Third, the humanitarian response was criticized as well. The US provided aid, but the recovery efforts in Kenya and Tanzania were slow. Many victims of the bombing was left without proper support, and rebuilding efforts were delayed. The local government struggled with the aftermath, and much more could have been done to help the communities in need. Lastly, the US response focused heavily on military retaliation and intelligence gathering. While these are necessary, critics argue that the US failed to work closely with local governments and international partners to address the broader issue of extremism. A more diplomatic approach, alongside military action, could have been more effective in preventing future attacks. In conclusion, the 1998 embassy bombings were a turning point in how the US and world would approach terrorism. The bombing exposed flaws in intelligence and security and led to a re-evaluation of US counter-terrorism efforts. The immediate military response, while important, didn't address the deeper issues of extremism and terrorism. The bombing was a wake-up call that pushed the US to enhance its security protocols, strengthen intelligence efforts, and ultimately prepare for even bigger challenges like the 9/11 attacks. Looking back, the lesson learned from this attack shaped the way the US responded to terrorism in the years that followed. The 1998 embassy bombings are a reminder of the importance of being proactive, not just reactive when it comes to global security. That's all from me. Thank you.